Welcome to All in Togo, the channel that immerses you in the heart of everything that from near or far makes you discover Togo. In this new series, we will retrace together the history of the settlement of Togo, from the first human settlements to the present day. A fascinating journey through time, ideal for the curious, history buffs and students in search of knowledge. To start this first part in style, let's dive into the history of the settlement of Togo, its roots, the migrations that shaped its identity, and the heritage of the people who live there. Fasten your seatbelts. Let's go. Episode 1. The history of the settlement of Togo, roots, migrations, and identity. Togo, a country with artificial borders drawn by the colonial powers, but whose history and identity are rooted in centuries of migration, conflict, and coexistence between various peoples. Who are the Togolese? Where do they come from? What events have shaped their current distribution across the territory? Welcome to this documentary that delves into the heart of the origins of the settlement of Togo. Before we start, let's first go to discover Togo. Togo is a West African country with an estimated population of about 9 million inhabitants in 2024, for a density of 164 inhabitants per square kilometre. Togo is bordered to the north by Burkina Faso, to the south by the Atlantic Ocean, to the east by Benin, and to the west by Ghana. Its territory offers a wide variety of landscapes: a sandy coast in the south, hills and valleys in the centre, crossed by the Atakora Mountains, as well as arid plains and vast savannas in the north of the country. Togo takes its name from the village of Togo, Toago, which originally means by the water, or according to the intonation, beyond the hill, in the Ewe language. The village of Togo is now known as Togoville, a German colonial city and the first capital of the country, which is located east of the current capital Lomé on the shores of Lake Togo, the name given by the Germans to the lake, which was called Lake Baga. Long before colonization, even before the kingdoms were established, people were already living in the territory we now call Togo. The oldest traces of human occupation date back several millennia. Archaeology has revealed that Togo has been inhabited since the Neolithic period, thanks to various remains found on the territory. Stone tool-making sites have been identified at Pana, Tado, and Notse, where megaliths marking ancient burials are also found. The cave paintings of Sogu and Namujoga depict horsemen, human figures, and abstract signs. Iron metallurgy, attested as early as the first millennium in Dapaong, Basar and Tado, testifies to an advanced know-how. As does the production of finely decorated ceramics in Tado. The layout of the ground was marked by shards or stone pavements, which are still visible in some ritual places. Finally, fortified earthen or stone enclosures, such as those of Notse and Tado, protected the cities and served as strategic points. These archaeological discoveries shed valuable light on the ancient history and lifestyles of the Togolese population. Peoples considered indigenous include the Adelaide, whose mythical traditions relate a descent from the sky by a rope. The Akabu, having developed local chiefdoms and an organized socio-political structure. The Akposo, who are said to have migrated from Notse and whose settlement in the Togolese mountains is said to have been gradual. The Bogo or Alon, a people from the southwest, who have preserved unique traditions and specific architectural structures. The Kabye and related groups, Lamba, Logba, Kuhama, who are said to have links with the civilizations of the West African savannah. The Konkomba and the Moba are said to have settled for centuries in the northern part of the country. These first inhabitants were farmers and hunter-gatherers. They lived in small communities organized around the land and ancestor worship. The political organization is strengthened over the centuries with the emergence of centralized chiefdoms, particularly in the Aja-Tado cultural area, which includes the Aja, Ehwe, and Mina peoples. The northern populations, notably the Moba-Gurma and the Tem Kodokoli, are developing socio-political structures influenced by neighboring kingdoms such as Dagomba and Mossi. Between the 16th and 18th centuries, a major migratory wave changed the demographic composition of southern Togo. The Anufo, or Chokosi, constitute a population with no common origin with the other formations of the region, but which has played a dominant role. The Chokosi inhabit the region of Sansane-Mango, where they settled as conquerors in the 18th century, coming from Côte d'Ivoire. They are largely Islamized. Linguistically, they are the only speakers of a Kwa language of the Akan family in all of North Togo. The Aja and Ewe peoples, originating from the kingdom of Tado, fled wars and internal conflicts to several regions of Togo. One of the most significant migrations was that of the Ewe, who settled in Notse under the leadership of King Agokoli. But according to tradition, Agokoli imposed a tyrannical regime, forcing his subjects to build a perimeter wall with their own hands. Eventually, the Ewe escaped and founded several cities, including Bay, Lomé, and Aneho. This is how Lomé, the capital of Togo, originated from the village Alomé, meaning among the aloe, in reference to the shrubs that grew in the area. In the center of the country, the Akposo, the Tem, and the Bassa have built highly structured communities based on agriculture and iron metallurgy. These peoples developed advanced forging techniques that influenced the entire sub-region. Further north, the Kabye, installed on the plateaus, adopted a lifestyle based on terraced culture and a highly hierarchical social organization. the Moba, and the Gorma, meanwhile, developed a society of warriors, organized in autonomous chiefdoms. The arrival of Europeans in the 19th century profoundly changed the population of Togo. The Berlin Conference in 1884-1885 divided Africa among the colonial powers without taking into account ethnic and historical realities. The peoples of Ewe, Mina and Gain were separated between the German Togo and the British Gold Coast, while the populations of the north found themselves under the influence of the French settlers who were trying to link this region to the AOF, French West Africa. The colonizers favored some groups over others, exacerbating the ethnic tensions that still exist today. Today, Togo is a mosaic of more than 40 ethnic groups cohabiting in a territory of 56,600 square kilometers. The Ewe, the majority in the south, strongly influence urban and political culture, while the Kabye, well established in the north, have played a central role in the country's governance since independence. Between tradition and modernity, Togo seeks to preserve its heritage while adapting to the challenges of globalization. The history of the settlement of Togo is that of a land of migration, of conflicts, but also exchanges and cultural miscegenation. To know these origins is to better understand the Togolese identity and the challenges of its future development.